Tonight at 11.
Everyone needs a hero. We can all be inspired by someone who beats the odds and becomes a role model. Tonight, Scott Yunt and photographer Sean Finley introduce us to a man whose mother called him Happy Harry when he was a kid. Harry, Jay Blake, his friends call him Jay, is one of those heroes. Here's our cover story.
Jay.
Yes, Douglas.
How do you want the burnout today?
Hard. Let's go put Sawyer on the trailer, boys. You try and watch, get an idea what the other cars are doing, and hope and pray a lot.
It is part of drag racing, indeed part of life.
Because you get one shot to get it right.
Harry J. Blake is living his dream. He is president and chief mechanic of Follow a Dream racing team. Jay, as everyone calls him, is also completely blind.
My fingers got fluid on them.
I don't know, I can't see him. Yeah, it looks like it.
I mean, that's barely any, though.
I'll see if I can keep my earphones in.
Jay's older brother Jimmy drives the car, hammering the Super Comp dragster down the quarter-mile track at more than 160 miles an hour, all in 8 seconds. Jay's racing team is a nonprofit educational foundation. Jay was blinded in an accident a little more than 3 years ago. He had no idea how to live blind. Born in Wayland, Massachusetts, Jay grew up like most kids. His older brother Jimmy built a drag racing car for a high school project. That fascinated Jay.
Very young, I used to take anything and everything apart. And as I got older, it got bigger.
It would be a life pursuit. Jay married, had 2 kids, and worked as an auto mechanic. Then one day, everything changed.
My accident happened on May 22nd, 1997. I don't remember anything that happened that day. All I can tell you is what people have told me. I was working on a tire and wheel assembly, and it exploded in my face. And when it did that, it hit me right along my eyebrow line and took my sight with it, my smell, and my taste.
He was flown off Cape Cod to Mass General Hospital in Boston. He was critical. Doctors had hope for survival, but not much more. Brother Jimmy was near.
I woke up and I said, "Am I alive?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Am I blind?" And he says, "We think so."
There was a lot of gratitude that he was alive. So it wasn't that he was blind, it was gratitude that he was alive.
And they would come in and with a light and ask me to look at the light. And let me tell you, I felt the muscles in my little toes trying to see that light. But it wasn't to be.
There was plastic surgery. Both eyes were removed. Jay would have to wear prosthetic eyes. The family started making plans. There was talk about getting rid of Jay's toolbox. 6 feet long and 5 feet tall, it didn't seem to have any use anymore.
He started collecting them since he was probably 8 years old. And somebody said, well, you know, we're going to have to get rid of that. And it was like, no, wait. You know, we got to wait.
I came out into my garage and started going through my toolbox, and I realized I could tell what things were without sight. I could tell what they were by feeling them.
It was then the world started to open again. He got the notion he might learn to do everything he'd done before.
You have to use your hands as your sight.
In a way, anyone who works with their hands sees with them. There's pleasure in holding the machined engine parts, turning the tools. Tools give you power over interesting things, even if you can't see them.
My wrench drawer is set up so I know the first wrench is 1/4 inch, and I count from there.
For instance, there's a ratchet up here with a deep socket on it. What size, can you tell me what size that socket is? Do you know?
I don't know because I didn't take it out and put it together, but my guess is that's a 5/8 socket.
Of course, Jay has always known his tools, and that's exactly what it is.
Jay's foundation, Follow a Dream, of course, isn't just about him following his own dreams. He brings his message of inspiration to any group that needs it. For instance, the Carroll Center for the Blind, a place he himself learned to put his life back together.
We're not starting the car for anybody to drive it.
Okay, except you.
Okay.
Well, you want to do that?
That's fine, but...
Okay. On this day, Jay visits the center to lecture to blind kids. Ironically, Jay's father, Gary, had been on the board of the Carroll Center for decades before he died earlier this year of an infection after years of kidney dialysis. Jay had been close to his father, 10 years ago donating one of his own kidneys to help. The surgery was unsuccessful, but it proves Jay's commitment to his father and the principles he believed in. One of them is humor.
There was one thing I knew I could not do on a regular basis, and that was drive. And I said regular basis because I knew I could still drive. And I knew I would. And I do.
Jay uses the foundation and the dragster to bring his message to life.
I can't see anything, so
Me either.
not even like.
Me either.
Feel how smooth it is? Yeah.
At the Carroll Center, the blind learn most of what you see is behind your eyes.
Whatever you do, don't push this red button.
Ah, don't worry, all the power's shut off. All the power's
Let's just say it would be cool to take that little thing for a test drive.
I didn't know anything about blindness really prior to my accident. And it's, you know, I never imagined speaking publicly. They tell me the car is beautiful on a regular basis or anything like that. It's very new, but it gives you an amazing feeling when you can go out and help people.
However, all of this has come at great personal cost. There's, of course, the blindness, but other things changed in Jay's life, too. About a year and a half after the accident, Jay's wife, Gail, and the children moved out. There was a divorce.
My wife had a very difficult time dealing with it and understanding how I could still want to work with cars and work with tools.
There was also logistic trouble getting the project off the ground. Jay needed money and went looking for sponsors.
And I told them what I wanted to do. I mean, I can't see, but I can tell you they all thought I had 3 or 4 heads. They thought I was nuts.
Are you wired for sound? I'm wired.
Every day, Jay Blake moves people. He moves his brother at 160 miles an hour.
On any given day that I can turn around and think I'm having a bad day, you know, all I have to do is listen to Jay.
Whoa!
Today, Jay is only looking forward. His children, Mary Beth, age 9, and Stephen, who is 13, believe their father is a hero.
It's amazing. You see that thing shoot down the track and say, my dad built that.
I know. I mean, it would be different if like someone else sighted built it, but I mean, a blind guy built that. I can't believe it. And he's my dad's. Geez, even better.
It's amazing. I never thought my dad could do a thing like that when he was blind. At points it makes me scared and at points it makes me happy. But most of the time now, since he raced, I really like it and I like going to the track, watching him race and cheering for him.
There is, of course, some irony in the fact that Jay always wanted to crew chief and own a professional racing team, something he may not have ever done had he not been blinded.
It's come together in such a way, and it's so enjoyable. It's like I was, you know, it's all meant to be.
So the thing that I think that people thought at the beginning he would never deal with is the thing that he makes his life with today.
Follow a Dream is bringing the message to lots of people, and it's given Jay one of his life's dreams, one he's still working on. He's looking for corporate sponsorship and planning to build a more powerful nitromethane-burning top-fuel dragster. That will allow him to take his message to a national stage.
The eventual goal of Follow a Dream is to speak to as many people as we can and to go out and prove and show people that with a positive attitude and self-determination, the sky's the limit.
Not bad, buddy. Hey. Woo. Good job, man. All right. We're getting it.
They already have. With photographer Sean Finley, Scott Yunt, Necn.